much for being here. My name is Nikia. I'm your guest host this evening while season 8 takes over for season 9. And I know you're all waiting with bated breath. So let's see what the weigh-ins were today.
Donna, 194.6.
Good morning. This is Roderick.
But what you really want to know, what you're dying to hear tonight, are what are the standings? Is anybody excited about the standings? I get some comments in the chat, maybe some responses. There we go. We got some hand raises by Hannah. Catherine's ready. All right. So in 6th place, down 10.9 pounds for a total of 4.9% is Catherine. Everybody cheer for the people. In 5th place, we have Susan down 6 pounds and 5.9%. In 4th place, down 10.8 pounds, 5.15%, Deborah. In 3rd place, down 17 pounds, 8.3%, Donna. In 2nd place, down 27.4 pounds, 8.19%, Laura. Pew, 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 pew. And in 1st place, down 18.4 pounds, 12.26%, Hannah. Congratulations, ladies. You have an amazing week of results. We have a new decade to report. Deborah in Wonderland, baby, way to go. We are so excited and proud of you. Those decades, those milestones tend to reinforce all the activity that we're doing, that you're doing to get the results that you came here to get. So we're super excited and proud of all of your work this week. So tonight, we're going to be talking about the gray zone. Now, we've got several cast members from season 8 here to share with you their experience regarding the gray zone. And I want to encourage you to take notes. All right, something about the way our brain processes things when you take a moment to take notes. So I'll give you a quick 15 seconds if you check your pen, check your pencils, make sure your things are right. Now, because you're going to get some nuggets tonight from people who have been where you are where you are, can continue on our path, our journey towards mastery, towards getting the better body, the body that's more in alignment in our long-term goals. And we're going to pour into you tonight, talking specifically about the gray zone. And so, because we always want to make sure that we call on Brent. And as the winner of the first round of our season and in high standing for the second phase of our season, I'm going to give him an opportunity to share first, ladies. And Catherine, I see that notebook, girl. Thank you so much. I hope everyone else has pulled out their notebooks to take notes, because Brent, he's already done an interview with Carmen, and now you get him to pour in directly to you. His consistency and his persistence on this journey has been inspirational, and yet he has information to share with you about the gray zone and how he's been able to avoid it. So, Brent, thank you so much. Let me spotlight you. Take it away, my dear.
Okay, so the gray zones. The biggest thing I can tell you about the gray zone, you're now into, this is what, going into week 6, if I counted right. So you're past the point where it's new and everyone wants to jump in and keep on the schedule and you've got the plan. Now you're at the point where, are you going to pick it up and keep rolling on your own? And are you going to start making this happen? And you're not on your own because you have a group, but it still falls on you to actually follow the plan. That to me was the most dangerous time, because especially with what we got going into now. We got holidays coming up. There's going to be cookies. There's going to be candy. There's going to be gatherings. There's going to be people that want you to, and they will literally tell you it's no big deal. Like it's just one. I remember walking in after I was really starting to make progress, and someone said, "We brought donuts today." And lucky for them, I did not quick draw. I just basically said, "Sorry, it doesn't fit my plan. So you all get to live another day, and I'm gonna let you enjoy the donuts while I go and grab my next bottle of water." But what I found was you have to accept the gray zone is going to be there. The question is, how are you going to address it when it comes? And the best way to address it that I found is to have a plan. You've got a plan. Follow the plan. That's the hard part. So I'm going to show you what I do, and hopefully this will help. First thing I did was I always like to research. Like whenever someone tells me anything, I do some research of my own to see, does all this make sense and can I support it with facts? So let me give you just some studies about being consistent with a plan. So we've got a checklist of things that you have to do every day: checking in, doing your protein shake, doing your energize. There's a reason for developing that consistency. And this comes from a Brown University study that was published about 4 years ago, specifically about working out and the benefits of consistently working out. So people that were consistent in their workouts and had a schedule to it tended to work out more. Even with the ones that said they work out regularly but were not consistent on their schedule, the ones who had a consistent schedule and stuck to it worked out on average 350 minutes a week, and the ones that were inconsistent with their schedule and their timing or switching the time of the day or what the rest day was, were averaging only 285 minutes a week. That doesn't sound like a lot, but every one of those minutes is energy, calories burned, and endorphins created that make you feel better. 85% of the people that worked out on a consistent schedule exceeded the minimum 150 minutes a week that's recommended by sports therapists to maintain and have a healthy, vibrant lifestyle. So start with your daily tracker. This thing is gold. This is what I still pull out every single day. And every time I do something, every time I eat something, every time I drink a bottle of water, every time I exercise, I pull this out and I check it. I carry this and a eraser marker with me. This is my daily check for myself. But more important even from that, this is my current workout routine. All of your Beachbody workouts have these planners available to you. I print them out. I started this one October 9th. I can tell you what day my last workout's going to be because I've already put the days and the days of the week at the top. And every time I do a workout, I've marked it off. And it's really hard to lie to yourself when you're looking at something and saying, I worked hard. Like, oh no, I didn't do ab shredder. Even this morning, I work out in the mornings. I believe in maintaining a steady schedule. So I got up, worked out in the morning. I had an early meeting. I came home and said, do I want to do part 2, which was ab shredder? First thing in my brain was, no, it's 4:00. You're going to have a meeting coming up. And then I said, don't be an idiot. Slap myself around a little bit. And I did the 20-minute ab shredder. And I feel better for it. Print your calendars, print your schedule. The studies have shown you don't have to work out at the same time every day to have the benefits. What you do have to do is work out every day regularly. Studies also show that if you change your rest days or you keep piling on rest days, you're going to increase the likelihood of injuries, and you're going to increase the likelihood that you don't follow through the next day. So you schedule these things and make sure. I will always have my rest day is always Sunday. But rest day doesn't mean sitting around doing nothing. For me, it's stretching and flexibility workout. So I find some program that's just about flexibility. That consistency will help you get through the gray zone, because then you're not going to want the Snickers or the M&Ms that are right now sitting in a bucket for a bunch of little kids that are going to come by tomorrow. and I literally don't crave them. But last year, I would have walked by and they won't miss one M&M package. They won't even know I didn't have it to give it to them. And this time I was like, I don't even want to open it. I'm happier being healthy. And thank you, Nakia.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Brett. I really appreciate your everything you shared. I hope everyone caught the fact that having a plan around what you're doing is critical, and keeping the plan in front of you helps you avoid the winging it phase. And so that is critical to making sure that we get the results that we want. Now, ETN, are you available to share? You ready?
I am.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, ETN Thomas, take it away.
Thank you so much. Good evening from North Carolina. It's great to see everyone and to meet the cast of season 9. Hi, Hannah. Way to go. Nakia, thanks so much for hosting and for the opportunity to share. Gray Zone for me has been somewhere that I've kind of played double dutch with, not intentionally. It's just been unintentional and really trying to get out of my head and be consistent and accountable. And I would say 2 places and really stealing a page from Nakia, who I think for our entire season really has us with this mantra about our gallon of water. And Nakia has really shared with us and shown us how impactful that gallon of water can be. And so as a season, we have a silent and sometimes a very vocal competition going on with how consistent you can be with getting your gallon in and who gets their gallon in first in a day. But I tell you, when you get in that gray zone, having friendly competition and a team that supports your success is really critical. And the water is so vital to our success. And so when we all start this journey, we say, oh, a gallon of water. If you were doing that already, you're like, oh, that's easy. If you weren't doing it, it's like, oh man, getting a gallon. And we can come up with a myriad of excuses as to why we're not getting that gallon in. But we can all agree, just like Brett was saying, he felt so much better after his workout. When you get that gallon in, you see the difference. Aside from running to the restroom, once your body gets used to it, and we all know when we're consistent, because, Brett, again, apologies. When we look in the toilet, it's clear. That means we've gotten in enough water for the day. The scale will move. I was one of those people that thought, well, if I drink all this water, it's just going to continue to increase what the scale says. And I was like, actually, it has the opposite effect. Crazy me. I was a poli-sci major that went to law school. Science was all right, but yeah, learned a lot during this process through Carmen's teaching, but also through the group. So getting your gallon in, when you get into that gray zone, when you get off track, look back at, am I being consistent with my gallon each and every day? Am I getting my water in every day? And it'll make a difference for you. And you'll see that improvement and you'll see that scale move. But going along with our water are the containers. And I can tell you, as someone who travels a lot, business and professional, making sure I have my gallon container with me and my containers has been so critical. Where very early on, when I would travel, I was so consistent. I was on it. I had my containers. And then I forgot them one trip. And I was like, oh, I can eyeball this. And I was like, but I cannot. And that does not work for me. Because the minute I think, oh, I've got a good eye on this, then we get off track. And then we decide that our consistency and our accountability becomes eyeballing or using what we think is the way to go. Again, changing the recipe that we know is effective and it is successful. That if we follow the recipe, we'll have success. Now, I might not have the same success as Iris as quickly, or as Nisha as quickly, or as Brett as quickly. But my success will come if I'm consistent and I do what I need to. And that's getting my gallon in and I'm using my containers, but also getting very familiar with the foods that I can eat and how they impact my body. My first meal of the day, every day, is my carbs. I get them out of the way immediately. My carbs are out in my first meal of the day because what I figured out when I fell into the gray zone is, for me, I slipped back into going to what made me feel good. My comfort foods, they were on the list, but I was eating them at the wrong time of the day. So for me, getting out of my gray zone, it took me being consistent with getting my water in, getting it in as early as possible, and getting my carbs in and being true to my containers. So if you're at this point in your program and you're like, oh man, I couldn't find my blue container, go find it. Oh man, that orange container, could I really have that or could I not have that? Go back to the list. Be true to who you are supposed to be based on the program and our commitment. But if you keep your water in front of you and make sure that you're getting your containers and eating them all, including the yellow, it is part of the program. You'll get out of the gray zone. That doesn't mean you'll be out permanently and that you won't slip back into it from time to time because life happens. But if you stay consistent and accountable, you use your tracker like Brett was talking about, and you follow the program, you'll have the success in your time. And while you're waiting for your moment and the small wins are coming, celebrate those small wins. 1 pound is 1 pound less than you were last week. So celebrate those small wins, but figure out how to keep yourself out of the gray zone. I know that for me, each and every day, it's being consistent and accountable and getting out of my own way.
Awesome, Etienne. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. You mentioned consistency and accountability. That's what this season, this cohort of individuals is for you, your accountability, the water. Now, I will tell you, reporting your progress throughout your water helps you stay accountable to getting your water in. It reminds you to drink water. And also seeing the notification from your cast members will remind you like, hey, am I a third of the way through yet? How much longer do I have to get my water in? It's a great reminder. And yeah, we love seeing someone post gallon across the chat, so we know that they've reached their gallon of water. And if you get your water in earlier in the day, you're less likely to be up at night. That's what my husband says. Friendly competition. A little friendly competition kind of spurs each other on. I know Nisha and Brett were battling back and forth for the 1 and 2 spot in our season, and we had a chance to cheer for them while encouraging ourselves. The containers, eyeballing our food. Let me tell you, we didn't get where we got because we've got an eye for those accurate measurements. Our eyes are bigger than our stomach, and our eyes for what fits in that container. Even when you dump it out, I always think, man, when I put the stuff in the container and then I pour it out on my plate, I'm like, wow, it seems like so much more than I thought because this little container seems so small. And yet it's not as big as what we did if we did it without the container. And then comparison, you see where everyone in your cast is as evidence that you can get there too, not as anything to keep you from appreciating the success that you've had in your journey. You are not behind, you're right where you belong. And if you're not losing 2 pounds per week, go back and look at what you're tracking. If you're not tracking your food, either on the tracking sheet or in the app, I want to highly recommend it because you can see what's working well for you and what's not. And it's evidence in your scale. So those are some notes that I wrote down from Etienne's share. Iris, are you ready to share?
Yes, I am. So the gray zone. What is the gray zone? I put it's a situation where you feel comfortable and you choose not to do what you're supposed to do or to give the program 100%. And another word for comfort zone that I heard or that I learned from Jackie O'Quinn, which is Carmen's husband, is the comfort zone is the dead zone. So, that hit me hard when I heard that. One of the biggest challenges for me and the gray zone was water, because I was not a water drinker. I was a soda drinker. So it was very hard. And, sometimes you enter the gray zone trying to say, well, I put water in my shake, or I'll do a green shake and that counts as water. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't. And sometimes we can enter the gray zone doing those kind of little things, but add up at the same time. So just like Etienne said, water is a secret tool. When I start, trying to, we call it Cadillac on the water, or I try to Cadillac on the water. What I do is I try to, or on any other aspect, I try to look up the benefits of doing it, or like the benefits of drinking water. And that helps me a lot in wanting to actually do it. I've gone from carrying the gallon everywhere I go to make it to where I'm uncomfortable. I have to drink it. I'd rather just drink it and leave the gallon. Or I have a backpack and I put 8 waters in the backpack, and you'll be surprised by the time when you do those kind of little things, you'll be surprised, because you don't want to carry the backpack with all the waters. So you'll be surprised how fast you will. You can find little, hacks like that in everything. Another, you can enter the gray zone with exercise sometimes, like Brett said, he had 2 exercise for today. He's like, should I do it or not, or maybe later, or just doing it halfway. Or, like I said before, you can do 60 minutes and burn 800 calories, or 60 minutes can also burn 300. So it's your choice. What else? Use the time wisely. Like I said, the look into hacks to where you will avoid that gray zone. Exercise early in the morning if it's best for you. For the containers, I know that sometimes we pay a lot of attention of overloading the containers, but sometimes we underload the containers, and that is also entering into the gray zone, because your body is, the container is the exact calories that you need for your food. So be careful with that. I want to share some of the quotes that I wanted to do for today. Is the most difficult thing is the decision to act. So that was one. If everything seems under control, you're not going fast enough. So, it's just little things like that, that I like to write, everywhere, and keep myself on track. The right thing to do and the hard thing to do are usually the same. Do the hard things, the easy things will take care of themselves. When you face difficult times, know that the challenges are sent to promote, to increase, and to strengthen you. So I'm so happy to be here, to be able to share this, and make yourself a priority. Always remember that we were picked to be in here. We were picked to be able to do this program. And I don't know if I have mentioned it or Carmen mentioned it before, but for me, I was picked on the 3rd time I applied. So to me, it was like a big privilege. I saw it as something, and unfortunately, at that time, I wasn't economically, I didn't have the money, the resources, and I had to find a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. So God is good, and I'm here, and we're making it, and it's one of the best decisions I've made in my entire life.
Thank you so much for your wisdom. I really appreciate that. Something that I heard Iris say that I don't, wait, she didn't exactly say this, but how my brain processes it. Welcome to my brain. Keep your water with you. Keep your water with you. You're more likely to drink it than if you don't have it with you. And what you said, I have it either in a big jug or the 8 smaller bottles. 1 gallon of water is about 8 pounds. You're basically lugging around almost 10 pounds unless you drink it, and then you don't have to tote it around anymore. And having it with you helps you get it in. Make yourself a priority. Like so many times that when we signed up for this because we have a need, we have a desire to change our bodies for at least a glimmer of a seed of a vision that we have for ourselves. So making yourself a priority and recommitting every single day. Sometimes I read a book, listened to a podcast, whatever. That's how my brain works. If I pull together like 18 different things, but I'm gonna condense it down for you is this. We're not connected to that version of our future selves just in general. We have to really recognize that the version of our future self that we're here to create is already within us, and that everything that we do is for that person's benefit, which is you. It is for your benefit. So many times we'll show up so well for other people, we do not always show up as well for ourselves. Every day recommit, make yourself a priority. That I got that from Iris. So thank you so much, Miss Iris. We appreciate you. Nisha, you ready?
So I am actually going to speak about recommitting and revisiting your why video, and why revisiting your declaration is important and keeping that in front of you. So your declaration, it actually helps you to stay focused. You will all receive that in the beginning of the program. And it helps you stay focused on your goals and your priorities. And also it helps you measure your process, your progress. So the more you commit and you dedicate yourself, you're gonna be making sure you're getting on the scale, because you remember your why, you remember what you committed to. You're gonna make sure you're drinking your water, completing your containers. And then it also kindles motivation. So when you go back and you revisit your declaration, it helps you to rekindle your motivation and remind you why you started in the first place, which is extremely important, because if you keep that in front of you, it's going to force you to get up in the morning, or whatever your workout time is. It's going to force you to get up at that time and complete it, even when you feel like you don't want to complete that workout, or you might not want to eat those containers. There might be something in your face that looks more appealing. You're gonna look at what you wrote out and your reasoning, and that's gonna keep you strong. And also help you make the necessary adjustments. So one thing I want to speak about is where I faced a gray area. I don't know if you all have experienced this yet, but I had to actually rewrite my declaration. I'm sorry, rewrite my why. So in the beginning of the program, my why was because I wanted to meet a certain weight once I went into labor and delivered my baby, and I didn't want to have all the health issues. So what I noticed was I faced a gray area, this past week or whatever, and it registered yesterday, like, rewrite your why, because my why in the beginning of the program was no longer my why. So I fell into a gray area. So it's really important to make sure your goals still align with your why, or else you might have to go back and revisit and plan that out, and just make the necessary adjustments. And then yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Just ensure that you're on the right path, ensure you're making the necessary corrections, and just stick to the program. But I feel like that was very important to speak on, because one of you might run into this. I don't know what your reasoning is. And also, we have Thanksgiving coming up, so stay strong. Order some, what are the bars? The beach bars. I love them. They might as well put me in a commercial. Order some of those and stay strong and plan your meals. If you are any challenges that you feel like might arise during this time, because you all are entering in a phase where you have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. Like, we only had to deal with birthday parties, and that was tough for us, and maybe the 4th of July, things of that nature. But you all do have the holidays approaching where the vast majority of your family is going to be together, and stay strong. Watch your video the morning of Thanksgiving. Watch your why video the morning of Thanksgiving. I feel like that's huge. The night before you go to bed, if you have to keep cutting that video on throughout the day, make sure it just stays in front of your face. And that's pretty much it.
Oh, I love it, Nisha. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thinking about, yeah, I do intend to close out this with some information about Gray Zone and Thanksgiving, because keep in mind, Thanksgiving, the meal itself is one eating opportunity. It's not the entire eating opportunity. You don't save up all your containers and go ham in that meal. You spread it out, you break old habits. That's depending on, I mean, if that was your jam. Staying connected with your motivation and your why. Remembering and going back and hearing in your own words where you were at 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, as time goes by and you get farther away from the sense of urgency that you had when you started, and the monotony of success is routine, and you kind of fall into this complacency of, oh, I got it, what will a little bit here, a little bit there hurt, and then you end up setting yourself back farther than you want. You want to get the best results you have capable during this time period. So, and next we have Miss Scholar up for her share. Thank you, Miss Scholar.
Right, thanks, Nikki, and thanks everyone. And I just want to ask a question before I start. Who was forced into this program? Well, I don't see any hands up, but I don't know whether Carmen tells you guys this all the time, but she does tell our season that she actually prays that when she's choosing specific people. And then one of the things she did when she was choosing your season, I remember her sharing with us how bad she was feeling because she had all these applications, but she only had to choose the 6 of you. So that's one thing I want you guys to remember, that it's such a privilege and such an opportunity that you got this chance for Carmen to teach you. And she is so passionate and she goes far and beyond. So I just want you to always remember that this was just your time to have the 6 of you walk this program with you and you guys just be vulnerable to each other. I can tell you that. Now, when it comes to the gray zone, I'm just going to tell you a very simple thing. Just stick to the plan. Carmen has shared for you guys her photos before she started the weight loss journey and how she is right now. We know, like, you guys are in season 9, so we know she's received multiple successes from season 1 to season 9. So do not create your own plan. Carmen has given you the blueprint. Just do it. It's just easy. I like to call it copy and paste. She tells you, here it is, guys, just go ahead and do it. You don't have to think. You know, if some of you in school hated school and studying, you don't have to study. Just hang the container somewhere and just go ahead and take them. Stick to the plan, no matter how hard it may be sometimes. And then the other thing I'm going to say is check in. You know, there's usually a break between phase 1 and phase 2. And for our season 8, we were so used to each other, like we did not take a break. Carmen took a break from us, but we found ourselves just checking in. That's the beauty of checking in. You know, when you're checking in, you come, you share your struggles. Nikia is very good with even the small blueprints together with Brett. Sometimes I forget what we're supposed to take or sweeteners, and I just jump in there and I ask, hey guys, are we supposed to do this? And they respond. And then there's sometimes we ask something that Carmen has not covered, and then she goes ahead and covers to us. So the benefit of checking in, I say you get more education, and do not feel shy about any struggles that you're facing, because we are all in the same journey and we all get to embrace each other. And then the other thing I think I'm going to say is a lifestyle. I remember some of us in our season, we started saying, oh, I forgot to do this because I have a church thing. I forgot to do this because I decided to do this with my friends. And then Carmen asked us a question. You knew when you are coming in this program, you know, like we meet on Monday, you know your time for working out, you know your eating window. So as you accommodate other things in your life, do not ignore this journey. So always remember, as you're changing your lifestyle, do not compromise this new lifestyle that Carmen is teaching us. So I guess, Nikia, that's all I had to say. Just stick to the plan and check in. You guys have an awesome family. Maybe you're still in phase 1. Maybe you guys are not used to each other, but I'm telling you, you will get used to each other. Those will be like your family, your friends, and we always apologize to Brett, but he's accepted us. But good luck season 9, and just know that we are cheering for you guys. That's all I had.
Awesome. Thank you, Scholar. I wrote down, stick to the plan. Carmen has given us a plan, like a recipe. If you're a baker, you know that you cannot deviate from the measurements because you don't get the same result. Honestly, with most recipes, if you change the recipe, you don't get the same results. If you put chocolate powder into a vanilla cake, you won't get a vanilla cake, right? So if you follow the recipe of this plan, you will get results. checking in, and then make it a lifestyle. Those are notes that I wrote down. And I couldn't have planned this out better myself, because what I was going to talk about was we covered food. We haven't really talked about the eating window. We haven't really talked a lot about checking in. And what I'm going to talk about as far as the gray zone is checking in. And I don't know if you guys have gotten down to the nitty gritty and cried in your Marco Polo to each other yet. And yet your Marco Polo is a safe space. You share your highs and you share your lows. You share your challenges when you walk into your office or an event and there's nothing but crap food, maybe your favorite things that you're choosing not to eat right now, splayed out for you in unlimited quantity for you to take it. Who would know? The scale will know. You will know. Share those occurrences before you take the step. Confess the urge to, I don't like to use the word cheat or go off plan. Let's use that. Confess the urge to go off plan before you actually do it. You're less likely to do it, and then you will strengthen the muscle of showing up for yourself and your castmates. We talked about tomorrow's Halloween. I mean, we're going into the season of crap food. It will be everywhere. People will gift you with cookies and treats and so on, depending on where you are, unless you never leave the house. And then you might have a neighbor who just got this inkling that, oh, I made these coconut chocolate bars. I just want to drop some off for you and your family, or whatever. Someone in your household will have a desire for something that is not on plan for you. And you have an opportunity to strengthen the muscle to stay on plan and make a choice. Right now, we heard previously that you 6 ladies were selected over the numerous people that apply to be part of the biggest transformation. And that opportunity, as divinely inspired, like, now is time. You're made for such a time as this, and you are made to do hard things. Now that you listen to each of us share this evening, the question for you is, over these past 5 weeks, where do you think you have been in the gray zone? We are going to start out with Hannah.
Okay, so for me, I'm really good about my containers. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so that's probably an area where I overthink it a little bit, where I feel like I might underdo my containers from time to time because I'm worried about doing too much. So I feel like I'm pretty on spot with my containers. I think where I've been in a gray zone a little bit is with my workouts. I think that I sometimes get intimidated by certain moves, and I feel like I maybe can't do it. And so I'll automatically go to the modifier instead of actually trying to do it one time to see if I can keep up with it. So that was something where I challenged myself this morning. There was push-ups have always been a challenge for me, like forever and a day. I've never been able to do a full push-up, like an actual push-up. I've always done the quote unquote girl push-ups. And even then I always felt like they were a challenge. So anyways, that's one thing in the workouts I've been really focused on is, okay, if we're going to do push-ups, like I'm going to actually start trying to do more reps. And then today there was one, and I was like, why don't I just try it? Why don't I just try it on my toes? And I did one. I was very proud of that one. But I was like, okay, you know what? I'll do 2 tomorrow. And so I think that's where I need to have more confidence in the strength that I'm gaining. And so like right now I'm finishing up 21 Day Fix, and my plan to go to next is 80 Day Obsession. And then this morning, to Brett's point, I went ahead and printed out the calendar. I'm a planner. So like, I want to know 2 weeks from now, what am I doing in terms of workouts? So I printed out the calendar. And when I was looking at it, I saw that it was described as intermediate. And I got a little bit of like, oh crap, intermediate. Like I've been doing beginner's hard. Like now I'm going to try to do intermediate. And then I just thought to myself, okay, my mom is already doing 80 Day Obsession. Like, come on, like, am I really going to let my mom outdo me? So no, I'm not. So I'm coming for her with the 80 Day Obsession. So yeah, all of that's where I've been in the gray zone a little bit, just not having enough confidence to do the workout to as hard as I can, because I don't think I'm there yet, but I'm farther than I think I am.
Good evening. Where I have struggled in the gray zone would be with my water intake. I was not a water drinker. I haven't drank pop in years, but I just didn't drink anything because of having an overactive bladder. I just would avoid drinking, period. So getting my gallon in has been a struggle. And I feel like it's, 10 o'clock at night and I'm still chugging the last part of my water. And trying to make sure that I can put my check in the box to have it in. And so that's been my gray zone struggle.
I would say my gray zone is I feel like I figured out the first few weeks and how to get like all my food and all my containers in, and I'm eating the same thing over and over again, which I feel like if this is going to be a lifestyle in long term for the rest of my life, I don't want to eat these few meals I figured out over and over again. So I know there's been a few of us that had talked about we've been trying to incorporate some other recipes and some other things. So I have, I guess in my arsenal, I have more variety of meals so I want to stick with it.
So I think probably my gray area, I tend to be a little bit more like Laura. So I know what I can eat and how I get my vegetables and do all of that. So I was looking through the recipes of the Beachbody to see how those are. And I'm like, because I do a lot of cooking and baking and with my family, and usually they come over on Sundays. So Sundays is when I do all the food stuff. So either I will keep something out from and I have all boys, and so they're big eaters. So I will either keep something out or kind of keep track on, what's a carb. I'm trying to decide that a little bit better. To see how they track it, the different colored containers, versus just not doing it. So that's probably, and then my other gray area is when I do eat out, it's very easy for me to just order, 2 or 3 vegetables on the side or a salad with the dressing on the side, which I've been very pleased at how easy that has been to do. I've gone to several Mexican restaurants, and when you have, chicken and just the sauteed veggies and a small platter of rice and no cheese or stuff on the on the side, that I can eat that and it fits my my plan. But mine, I think my biggest deal is with Laura. I know what I can eat, and I know I just eat the same thing because it works and I don't get tired of it. I love my shakes. I love protein shakes. And so and then probably during the summer, it's sometimes if I start too late on my water, but for the most part it's just eating the same old thing.
Okay, my gray zone has been my window doesn't always start at the same time every day. Like we usually don't have the grandsons on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if I sleep late with the husband, then we'll get up and then he'll have his breakfast, but then I'll do my shake and then I'll do the workout. So I'm not exactly like Brett, just ding, 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 ding. I'm getting everything done like that, but I always get it done, but I'm just not a certain minute every day, if that makes sense. And then the other one is doing modifications on the exercise program. I felt when I was doing the beginner ones, I wasn't pushing enough. So I just kept looking and I found that 80-day obsession. And I think Catherine had mentioned something about an obsession one, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try it and see what happens. So this morning, and as most of you know, I had knee replacement surgery a couple of years ago. So I've used that as an excuse of not doing all I think I can do on the exercises. So this morning we were on the floor, and again, that's hard getting up and down. But anyway, I actually did 3 sit-ups, you know, and it's like, and I'd not tried it before. I would come halfway up, but this morning I came all the way up, and I thought, I can do this. So, and the other gray zone has been my recipes. Again, like Laura and Susan, just eating the same things over and over, taco salad, you know, baked chicken, whatever. So over the past week, I printed out 5 new recipes and have made a couple of them. So I'm getting variations there. So working on the different foods.
All right. So for me lately, it's definitely been the workouts. The gray zone conversation always comes at a good time because it's, you know, I was getting kind of comfortable with giving myself excuses. Like there's been quite a few times now where I'm making it a habit to, I'll tell myself that as long as I stay moving the whole workout, like there will be moves where they get on the floor and I haven't been getting on the floor and I just kind of touch my knee, just stay moving. And it's not necessarily that I can't do it. I just have been giving myself a lot of leeway. And I don't think that's what this program is about, because my husband is, you know, he's like, just, you know, take it easy. But I think we know inside of ourselves when we can do something and we're just kind of taking the easy way. So that's something that I want to push myself. I think I'll be really proud to look back and say, hey, I did that, you know, like super pregnant. And so yeah, that's for me. The gray zone would just be doing my absolute best in the workouts and not just doing the bare minimums, and making sure that I do them every day. So yeah.
You brought up a great point that when it comes to modifications, yes, obviously you check with your physician about any strenuous workout, and yet give it a shot safely. You'll be surprised at how much stronger you're getting as you begin to drop weight, as you continue to work out consistently. Yeah, if you have mobility challenges, initially the just keep moving is better than skipping the workout. And yet when you're doing the workout, get down on the floor. Try that move you thought you couldn't do before, and maybe you can do one at first, or you can't do it at all. Then try it again the next time. You'll be surprised you'll be able to do even more than you thought, because you're stronger than you think. You're made to do hard things. You're made for such a time as this. You're in this place right now, hearing this message because it is your time. Take advantage of the Marco Polo or Carmen, of all your mentors, everyone in your group helping you who's on the same path. We're always here, you know, for you. Go back and watch your seasons on YouTube, or go back and watch previous seasons on YouTube. Understand and hear the different struggles that people who've been on this same journey have made, and allow it to encourage you so that you can come out of this experience better than you were before, stronger, with lifelong friends who have seen you through challenges and opportunities for growth. And to see you show up for yourself, it creates a confirmation for you that you are becoming that person that works out. You are becoming the person that shows up for yourself, just like you do your best friend, because at the end of the day, you are your own best friend.